Satan is a evilous man, but him can't choke sit on.
Before Bob Marley became a global god, before reggae had a name people outside Jamaica could even pronounce, there were 5 songs, 5 secret weapons, built in tiny backyard studios by broke, hungry, half-starved geniuses who had no idea they were making history. One of these songs made an entire capital city shut its doors, because people genuinely believed the apocalypse was arriving on a single date. Let's get the countdown started. Song number 5, 2/7's Clash, by Culture, 1977. Joseph Hill wasn't planning on making history. He was just riding a bus through Kingston one afternoon in 1976 when a vision hit him. He fronted a harmony trio called Culture, alongside Albert Walker and Kenneth Days, and together they walked into producer Joe Gibbs's studio to record what would become their debut album.
It's only a house and scheme that divides.
But the song forming in Hill's head on that bus ride wasn't like anything else being recorded in Jamaica that year. Hill's vision was built on an obscure prophecy tied to Marcus Garvey, that when 2/7's clash, meaning the 7th day of the 7th month of 1977, past injustices would finally be avenged. He turned it into a song, 2/7's Clash, and it spread across Jamaica's sound system so fast that by the time the actual date rolled around, the entire island was on edge, half convinced Hill had actually seen the future. On July 7, 1977, it really happened. Schools and businesses across Kingston shut their doors, the National Defense Force went on alert, and the streets emptied out as people stayed home, waiting for a judgment day that never officially arrived, just because of the suggestive power of one reggae record. Joe Strummer and Johnny Rotten both later cited the album as a direct influence on punk. Joseph Hill died on stage in Germany in 2006, 30 years after a single bus ride shut down a capital city. Song number 4, Chase the Devil, by Max Romeo, 1976.
I'm gonna put on an iron shirt and chase the devil.
By the mid-1970s, Max Romeo had already had hits, but nothing prepared him for what happened when he teamed up with Lee Scratch Perry at the Black Ark for the album War in a Babylon. Together they wrote a song where Romeo, in character, declares outright war on Lucifer himself.
But him can't choke sit on I man, so when I check him.
Here's the twist almost nobody remembers. Romeo actually didn't want to release it. He thought it was too strange, too intense, and worried it wouldn't connect with anybody. Perry disagreed completely. He told Romeo flatly that the song could become an anthem, and pushed him to put it out anyway on the 1976 album. Built on a booming, hypnotic Black Ark rhythm, Chase the Devil opens with Romeo declaring, "Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm gonna chase you out of earth," turning an internal battle against negativity into one of the most menacing, unforgettable grooves reggae had ever produced.
Him can't stand up to judge a son. Him a Philadelphia.
Perry turned out to be dead right. Decades later, the Prodigy sampled it wholesale for their 1992 smash, Out of Space, and in 2003 Kanye West flipped the same vocal for Jay-Z's Lucifer. The track has since racked up over 110 million streams and even soundtracked a mission in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Proof that the song Romeo almost buried became exactly the anthem Perry promised it would be. Song number 3, Satta Massagana, by the Abyssinians. In 1968, two friends named Bernard Collins and Donald Manning formed a harmony trio in Kingston, later adding Donald's brother Linford. Donald had been studying Amharic, the ancient language of Ethiopia, taught informally around the Jonestown neighborhood after Emperor Haile Selassie's historic 1966 visit to Jamaica had electrified the entire Rastafarian movement. Out of that study came a hymn of gratitude, half sung in Amharic, that they called Satta Massagana. They recorded it in 1969 at Coxsone Dodd's legendary Studio One, but Dodd refused to release it, reportedly believing the song amounted to cultural subversion against the Jamaican mainstream. So the tape just sat there, shelved, forgotten by the very man who recorded it, while the Abyssinians waited with nothing but faith that the song deserved to be heard.
Knowing that this world war exploded.
Years later, the group managed to buy back the master tape and released it themselves. It exploded. Satta Massagana became so beloved it's still called reggae's unofficial national anthem in Jamaica, was adopted as an actual hymn in Rastafarian religious services, and was later named checked by Joe Strummer in The Clash's 1979 song, Jimmy Jazz. A song one producer thought was too dangerous to release became one of the most sacred recordings in reggae history. Song number 2, Skylarking, by Horace Andy, 1972. He was born Horace Hines in Kingston in 1951, but when he walked into Coxsone Dodd's Studio One in 1970, Dodd renamed him on the spot Horace Andy, a nod to another rising singer named Bob Andy. His debut single, Got to Be Sure, came out that same year, and Andy quickly became one of Studio One's most distinctive voices, with a delicate, aching tone that sounded like nothing else on the label.
That is what you do today.
Skylarking was different from most reggae hits of its era. It wasn't a love song or a Rasta anthem, it was a scolding. The lyrics call out idle youths begging for spare change instead of working an honest day. Warning, you will end up in jails, if the behavior continued. It first appeared on a 1971 compilation, but sound systems couldn't get enough of it, and by August 1972 it had climbed all the way to number 1 on Jamaica's official singles chart. For years, Skylarking was just a local classic, until 1990, when a British trip-hop group called Massive Attack discovered Andy's voice and brought him in to sing on their debut album, Blue Lines. Suddenly a whole new generation who'd never heard of Studio One were hearing that same aching voice from 1972, and Horace Andy became the only guest vocalist to appear on every single Massive Attack album since. Song number 1, Fisherman, by the Congos. Cedric Myton had the kind of falsetto reggae almost never produces, and Roy Ashanti Johnson had a clear, grounded tenor to match it. The two met through a Nyabingi Rastafarian religious order in Kingston, where they'd sell clothing to fellow dreads just to scrape together cash. Neither of them had any idea that a chance connection through this order would put them in a room with one of the most eccentric producers alive. That producer was Lee Scratch Perry, and when Myton and Johnson brought him a song about a fisherman rowing his boat home, Perry wasn't impressed with the first take at all. He sent them away and told them to come back the next day with different musicians. When they returned, Perry brought in a baritone singer named Waddy Burnett to round the group into a trio, and together they built Fisherman inside his infamous Black Ark studio, a space thick with incense, ambient noise, and pure obsessive genius. The resulting album, Heart of the Congos, is now regarded by critics as one of the greatest reggae records ever made, but at the time, due to a dispute with Island Records, only a few hundred copies were pressed in Jamaica. It nearly vanished from history entirely, kept alive only by collectors and reissue labels for decades. Then in 2022, director Jordan Peele used Fisherman in his horror film, Nope, and a song almost nobody heard in 1977 was suddenly haunting movie theaters worldwide. This is the real foundation reggae was built on, and almost nobody talks about it. If this took you somewhere new today, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already.